Are you wondering how you can embroider on a backpack with a single needle embroidery machine? In this video, I'm going to show you how I will attach this embroidered patch and also some embroidered words on this backpack using the single needle embroidery machine and the designs right here. And I'm going to be using a 4x4-inch hoop to achieve all this, getting something like this. So sit back and don't go anywhere. Hey lovelies, this is Annie with Annie Marie. If you're new here, you're welcome. Do well to subscribe to our channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. Here are all the tools that we'll be needing to achieve our purpose. We're going to be using this 4x4-inch embroidery hoop, and we're going to be using this embroidered patch. I actually created this patch using the single needle embroidery machine, so I need it to be in the middle of my embroidered words on this backpack. Okay, I'm going to use the words I've already created inside the machine, and I'm going to be using this self-adhesive tearaway stabilizer, the best for hard to hoop items. I made an unboxing video for this. It has the peppery side, which will be under, and this shiny part is the part that will be torn off, and you will attach your hard to hoop item on this side. It has an adhesive on that part. Now the words need to be arranged in such a way that it will come out on the backpack correctly. Okay, so we're going to go over to the bag now and start arranging it. I'm bringing out the backpack from the mannequin. I'm going to look at where I want to place my patch and the words, and I'll make sure I bring my patch and place it right there, and also ensure that the words will be on the same line with it. Okay, it could be at the top or at the bottom, but I don't really want it to be like that because I want everything to be in the middle and well centered. Okay, so I'm going to now open the bag and try as much as possible to hoop it the proper way, making sure that everything will come out perfect. While creating this design on my embroidery editing software, I made this image a patch. Okay, now if we're not making this image a patch, we can embroider everything together, but because I've made it a patch, I'm going to cut it out from this design so that only the words can be embroidered. Okay, so it's up to you the way you want to create your design for your bag. Okay, so we're going to go over now to hoop our backpack. All right, now I'll go ahead to hoop my stabilizer on my embroidery hoop. Okay, so it's going to be in the middle of this hoop. All right, well centered. I cut my stabilizer according to the size of my design. Okay, I made sure that it's going to fit. Now I'm going to start peeling out that shiny part to expose the adhesive part, because it's that adhesive part that we will need to place our backpack on. Now some people do not peel it completely like this, but I do. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that on hooping it, that the adhesive part, okay, the shiny part is facing me while the peppery side is at the bottom. Now you can actually hoop it with the shiny part not torn off. Okay, you can hoop everything together, then you use a sharp scissors or a razor to cut the middle of it and then just peel out that center. It works. All right, I'll take my hoop cover, making sure that it aligns properly with this point, and I'll place it on top of my stabilizer to hoop it properly. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that my stabilizer is well centered, is not askew, because if it is askew, then on embroidering my design there is a possibility that my needle will hit outside of the stabilized place. Now you can see the back is the peppery side, okay, and the top is the shiny part. So if I'm satisfied, I will start tightening my knob to make it drum tight. But when I mean drum tight, I'm not saying you should tighten it so much that it's going to stretch your stabilizer or make it too tight. Okay, now that I'm satisfied, I'm going to get my backpack and make sure that I place it properly on the hoop. We need to take note of this part that hooks onto the moving embroidery arm. So while trying to place our backpack on the hoop, we need to make sure that it's placed properly. Okay, so we're going to turn this over, making sure that it is like this, and then we will carefully place the part of the backpack that needs to be embroidered right on the adhesive area. Okay, we need to be very careful with this. If not, it's not going to work. Okay, so this part is where we want to embroider, so we'll do it carefully. Now the bulk of the bag, which is the body of the bag, needs to flow over the moving embroidery arm. All right, this is because if you place it in the middle of the machine, just where the space is in between the machine, it won't move easily. That is when you will start experiencing some problems, maybe broken needles, thread not going properly. It's not going to allow the embroidery arm to move properly because that space is too small for you to squeeze in the bulk of the bag. Okay, so make sure that the bulk of the bag, the body of the bag, is flowing over the embroidery arm. Now, if you are a total beginner, please use the grid that comes with your embroidery machine hoop. This will help you to align the backpack properly on the hoop. But if you feel that you are an intermediate embroiderer, or you're advanced, you're well experienced, then you can do exactly what I'm doing. I'm always eyeballing these things, okay, because I've done practicing and over time I got better. We have properly hooped our backpack. Okay, when we raise it, we can see the peppery side right at the bottom and the top is glued to the stabilizer. So we'll raise this area and the part that is supposed to hook to our embroidery arm will go in easily. Now it's time to hoop our bag. Okay, so we're going to bring it closer to the embroidery machine and then we'll go ahead to raise our presser foot, okay, which is already raised, and then we'll glide it through. It's very easy. Raise this other part and just hoop the hoop. All right, this is it. We're good to go. Everything is all right. Going over to the words that we want to embroider on the bag, we'll notice that the words are vertical, but we need them to be horizontal. Okay, so we need to go over there now and edit it properly to make sure that it will fit properly. On the embroidery machine display, you can see the words are actually vertical and we need them to be horizontal. So we're going to be using the rotate button to change its position. Okay, so we're going to be choosing the arrow that goes downwards 90 degrees, and you can see the way the words are now looking beautiful. It will align properly. So we're going to click on OK, and then we'll go ahead to edit it more. All right, so we click on edit end, and then we'll see this part that will help us to make sure that our design is going to come out exactly on the part of the bag that we need it to be. So I'm going to change the position of the camera now and show you what I mean. It helps you to make sure that your placement is right. Once we click on it now, it's going to move around this area that we want to embroider on, telling us that our embroidery design is going to fit in exactly where we stabilized. This part is very important. As a total beginner, please don't skip this part. I normally do it twice, okay, just to be on the safe part, just to make sure that I'm not going to stress myself after embroidering my design. Okay, it makes sure that the placement is correct and your design is going to come out well centered, looking beautiful. Okay, while checking for my placement now, I noticed that the upper part of this bag is made of waterproof and it's kind of moving a little bit, so I need to do something about it. I'll be using pins to pin around that waterproof area that is coming up and is moving, because I don't need a situation where I'll be embroidering and it's going to rumple up and it's going to mess up my design. I'll go ahead and click on OK now because my placement is correct and there is nothing to worry about, and then I will make sure that my colors are correlating, and then I'll go ahead to pin around this area because I need that place to stay put. Everything is ready and good to go now, so all I'm going to do is to bring down the presser foot and the button will turn green. I will click on that button just to tell the embroidery machine to start stitching, and it will stitch out our design. I will stop it just to cut off this excess thread that I'm seeing right here, and I will click on it again for it to continue. So our words are going to stitch out now. Now, one thing I do not actually enjoy about embroidering is that you need to stick around while embroidering, especially with single needle embroidery machines. With multi-needle, it can actually give you time, but of course you still need to hang around, believe me, but I think it's easier with multi-needle embroidery machines. Another thing is, for your words, you can actually make them different colors. I used only red here, but for your G, it can be green. For your O, it can be blue. Each letter can be a different color. okay? I didn't join my threads here, but you can do that with the embroidery editing software. You can see how this word turned out. I used red color just to make sure that it pops on the black backpack, okay? Now you can use different colors for these letters. You can use red for the G, you can use yellow for the O, you can use red or green or oxblood, you know, lemon color, any kind of color, yellow for the rest of the letters. It all depends on your choice. Something worth mentioning here is that I used pins here because this bag had 2 layers, okay? It had a waterproof material that covered the bag, okay? That was why I had to use pins. If you're using self-adhesive stabilizer, you don't need pins. It has a way of holding onto your material and you can easily embroider on your project, okay? I've done this with beanies, with had to hook items, and it worked. Please take note of that, okay? Now that the embroidered words are almost done, I'm going to go ahead to adhere my Heat and Bond Ultra Hold on the back of this patch, because this patch is going to be a iron-on patch, all right? I'm not going to sew it on. This part is where we'll expose our adhesive and glue it on the backpack, okay? Now I decided to use Heat and Bond Ultra Hold because I didn't want this process to be long for me, but believe me, this patch can be sewed on. Yes, you can use a sewing machine to sew it on to make it last longer, and you can also embroider everything together. I mean, you can embroider the image directly on the backpack and also add your words, okay? It just depends on you, your choice, all right? We're almost at the end of the embroidery. You can see it's telling us finished embroidery. We're going to click on OK. Make sure we clean up everything, remove it from the hoop. So I'm going to raise it now, unhoop it, and also raise the presser foot to make sure that it comes out easily, okay? The needle is already up. Now we'll carefully bring it out from the machine, and looking at it, you will see it came out beautiful. Remember, this is not the last part, okay? We're going to add our part in the middle to make it look exactly the way we want it. You can see the back right here. We're going to remove that stabilizer and also the excess thread around it. After cleaning it up, this is exactly the way it's going to look. You can see there are no threads crossing over the letters and the back is looking better, but I still need to pull out these excess stabilizers that are in between the letters to make it neat, okay? But I'm just trying to hurry up because I want to complete this project. It's time to add our patch, okay? So I'm going to peel out this back to expose the adhesive that will be glued on the backpack. Remember, this particular one is Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. If you want to sew this patch on, you'll be using Heat and Bond Light, okay? It has adhesive on the back which can be sewed on. This cannot be sewed on, okay? So we're going to go over, bring our backpack and use iron or heat press to adhere it to the bag. Before we do that, we need to make sure that our placement is correct because we don't want the glue to mess up our backpack. We're done with the bag and there we have it, looking beautiful, okay? Our words came out perfect. The patch came out beautiful and everything is aligned just as we want. Now you know that you can embroider on a backpack using single needle embroidery machine. No fear and no worries anymore. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, share your thoughts at the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share this video so that others can see it, and I will see you in the next one. Until later, lovelies. Ciao.